start recording the session, y'all. So, y'all, what I did here, Eric and Kaylin, I printed out the review. And so what I wanted to do was just answer questions that you guys might have out of the review. So y'all have my attention. If there's any questions you want me to go over, please let me know. And you know that I'll be happy to answer any of them that y'all might have.
Awesome.
So Eric or Caitlin, whichever questions y'all want me to go over, please let me know.
The one I recall again was like number 4 is one of them, and the other one was a microwave one too. I got stuck on that one again.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so look, let's do number 4, and then we'll definitely do the microwave one as well. Okay, so let's take a look here. It says a company is conducting a survey to determine how prepared people are for a long-term power outage, natural disaster, or terrorist attack. The frequency distribution on the right shows the results. Use the table to answer the following question. What's the probability that the next person surveyed is very prepared? Okay, so the first thing I want to do here, y'all, is let me get my pen going. Okay, I want to find the sum of the frequency. So I'm going to take these numbers here, y'all, and I'm going to add them together. So let me actually try doing it this way. Instead of just sharing that thing, I'm going to share my entire screen, but I can do it. I know it's going to look weird first. There we go. I think that's coming out great. Okay, so now I'm going to do this so I can pull up my calculator so you guys can see this as well. And let me clear this out. And yeah, I think you can see everything. Okay, so let's see. Let me get my calculator here. I'm going to take those numbers. I'm going to add them up. So 268 plus 934 plus 593 plus 318 plus 66. So the total I have is 2179.
That's correct.
Okay, and then, so when it says, what's the probability that the next person surveyed is very prepared? So we're going to say it's going to be 268 out of the 2179. Oh, and it's asking me to round to 3 decimal places. Okay, so let me go ahead and do that. So we're just going to write this as a decimal. 268 divided by 2179. And if I go to 3 decimal places, it looks like I'm coming up with 0.123.
Yes.
Yeah, so 0.123. So that's really how I'm going to do number 4. And so y'all, like I said, whenever you get ready to take the test, I'm just going to make this up. If this was a question on your test, I told y'all that the questions came directly from the review. So one of 2 things is going to happen. Number one thing might happen is those numbers may change, but you would do the problem the same way. Or the other thing is those numbers might change, and then instead of saying very prepared, it may say something like, I don't know, not sure or something like that, right? But the process would be the same way. All right, okay. So let's see if we can find the microwave problem. And here we go. Here it is. Okay. So let's go through the microwave problem, and it says a shipment of 8 microwave contains 2 defective units. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go like this. I know that my total is 8. 2 of them are defective, which means that 6 of them are not defective, right? Okay, and let's see. A restaurant is going to buy 4 of them. And it says, what's the probability of the restaurant buying at least 3 non-defective units? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here, y'all, I'm going to set up my denominator first. We have a total of 8, and we're going to buy 4, so we're going to do 8 choose 4. That's what my denominator is going to look like. Now, let's do the numerator. We want to have at least 3 that are non-defective. So let me explain what that means. So when we say at least 3 non-defective, what that means is that out of the, let's see, we're going to say out of the 6 that are not defective, we're going to choose 3 of them. which means out of the 2 defective, we would choose 1, or out of the 6 that are non-defective, we're going to pick all 4 of those being non-defective, and from the 2 that are defective, we're not going to have any. Okay, so when we say at least 3 non-defective, that means 3 won't be defective and 1 of them would, or 4 of them won't be defective and we won't have any non-defective. Okay, so look, that's going to be my numerator. So I'm going to try to write that over here, and I'm going to put like parentheses like this. I'm going to go 6 choose 3 times 2 choose 1 plus, it's supposed to be a plus, 6 choose 4 times 2 choose 0. And here we go. Okay, so y'all, when I do this part of my calculator, just exactly the way I wrote this here is how I'm going to write it on my calculator. So let me see if I can pull this up over here, and let's see if we can do this. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put parentheses. Okay, we're going to go 6 math. We're going to go to our probability, and we're going to choose 3 of them. Okay, and then we're going to multiply that times 2 math probability. We're going to choose 1 of them, okay, plus, then we're going to go 6 math, probability. We're going to come back to our choose. We're going to choose 4, so all 4 are non-defective, times 2 math probability, and we're going to choose none that are defective. So there's my numerator. Notice I put my parentheses, and I'm dividing all of this by 8 math probability choose 4, and I'm going to hit enter, and it's asking me to go to 3 decimal places. So y'all, what I would actually write here would be 0.786. If I'm going to go to 3 decimal places, so right here I would write 0.786. Did that make sense on how I was able to do the microwave problem?
Yes.
Okay, great. Any other questions y'all have out of me, y'all, from the review? You know, I'm happy to answer any questions you guys might have. So please don't be shy. Let me see real quick. I'm just going to see if anybody else is. Oops. So Kaylin, Lynn, Eric, do y'all have any other questions for me? I don't want to rush you guys. I just want to make sure that we're good.
Can we review like one of these PX, like number 9?
Yes, definitely. Of course, Eric, we can definitely do number 9. Okay, so let's take a look here, and it says use the probability distribution to complete parts A through D below. Okay, so here's my probability distribution. We got it right here, and so it says find the probability of randomly selecting a household that has 1 or 2 televisions. So when we're going to do this that has 1 or 2 televisions, we're going to find the probability of 1, and we're going to find the probability of 2, and we're going to add those numbers together. So if you notice, my probability of 1, let me clear my calculator, is 0.11, plus the probability of 2 is 0.27. And so my answer here would be 0.38, and it's telling me not to round, so I'm not going to do anything there. And then, let's see, part B says, what about selecting a household that has 2 or more televisions? So 2 or more would be the probability of 2 plus the probability of 3. And if we had 4 or 5 or 6, we would keep adding all of them up, right? We'd keep going until we got to the end. So let's take a look. For 2, it was 0.27. And for 3, it was 0.59. So we're going to add those together. So that's giving me a 0.86. Okay. And then part C says, what's the probability of randomly selecting a household that has between 1 and 3 televisions? And they use the word inclusive. So inclusive means we're going to be including the numbers 1 and the number 3. So we're going to take the probability of 1 plus the probability of 2 plus the probability of 3, and we're going to add all of these together. So we can take 0.11 plus 0.27 plus 0.59, and I'm coming up with 0.97. And then part D says, find the probability of randomly selecting a household that has at most 2 televisions. Okay, so at most 2 televisions means 2 or less, right? At most 2 means 2 or less. So we're going to take the probability of 0 plus the probability of 1 plus the probability of 2. So we'll take 0.03 plus 0.11 plus 0.27. And I'm coming up with 0.41.
Nice.
So far, so good?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, awesome. Good. Very good. Any other questions y'all want to ask me about, y'all? Like I said, I pulled, I think I told you guys the test had something like 14 questions, something like that. Let me get my my info here. I know I sent you guys a message on Blackboard last Friday. Let me just pull this up for you all. So yeah, it's got 15 questions, y'all, and they came directly out of test 2. So yo, just a couple of heads up. So I'm going to pull up the review again. And so one thing I wanted to mention, I know some people are really like the calculator a lot. Some people really like the tables. So one thing I did want to mention is I'm going to see if I can find one here. Okay. So like number 18, this would be one where you could use the table if you wanted to. And when you're doing your homework, I'm sorry, when you're taking the test, and because like I said, it came directly out of my lab. When you select, that right there, the tables pop up, right? So you'll have access to the table. But let me come back to this right here. So y'all, I did include a link for the tables. So if you click on this right here, the tables should pop up for you in case you want to use that. And then the other thing I have a formula sheet for test 2. And so I know we didn't necessarily go through a lot of these here because we have been able to use our calculator, but like the binomial probability, like the binomial PDF and the Poisson and the geometric, I have that there. I have the formula for our Z. I have the formula for what happens if we know the Z value, we're trying to go back and find the X value. Here we have, how do we know when our scores are unusual? So unusual would be between -2 and 3 or more than 2, stuff like that. So you do have, this information is available for you guys as well. So I just kind of wanted to give you a heads up that I did include those things as well. But I know a lot of people were definitely, big fans of using the calculator, but I just wanted to let you know that I did include that as well. Y'all, you can use any calculator you have. So like right now when I'm doing the review, because this is my school laptop, I have this in here, but at home, I will use my calculator app pretty regularly. So either one y'all are definitely welcome to use. All righty. Questions? Any other questions y'all want me to go over? Anything?
I'm looking.
Okay, yeah, take your time. I'm gonna just grab a glass of water real quick, y'all, as you all keep looking. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. All right. right, let's see who else is here. We got some more folks coming in. Awesome. Christine is here too. Eric and Caitlin. So we've just been going over some questions from the review. If there's any other questions y'all have, let me know, and we can definitely go over those.
No, can we try number 11?
Yes, of course. Okay, so let's take a look here at number 11. Okay, so for number 11, y'all, this one I'm definitely going to use my calculator. So let me pull this up for y'all so y'all can see how I'm going to do this. So I'm going to clear this out. So y'all, on my calculator, what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit stat, and I'm going to hit edit number 1. Okay, so if y'all notice, y'all, on my calculator, everything is cleared out. I don't have anything in here. So what I'm going to do, y'all, I'm going to make 2 lists. So the first list is going to be with the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 5. And then my second list will be my probabilities, okay? So look, we're going to go 0, enter, 1, enter, 2, enter, 3, enter, 4, enter, 5, enter. Okay, then I'm going to come to my second list. So all I did is click my little right arrow button right here, y'all. And I'm going to start entering those numbers. So 0.684, enter. 0.194, 0.194, enter.
How did you get to that screen?
Okay, of course. So look, let me get out of here again. So let me quit this part. Okay, so all I did is for my calculator, I hit the stat button, and then number 1 says edit. So I'm just going to hit either number 1, or I can just hit the enter button. And so that's how I came up with this screen here. And so what I did, and just so you can kind of see how I'm doing this, let me clear this out. Let me clear, enter, there we go. And let me do the same thing over here. Let me clear this and enter. Okay, so one more time, I hit the stat button. Oh my God, where is it? There we go, stat button. And then I did number 1. And so this is where I am now, right? And so again, I'm going to enter my numbers in. So I'm going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and then I'm going to hit the little right arrow button, and I'm going to enter the next numbers that I have here, y'all. So like the 0.68, all those numbers there. So 0.684, enter. 0.194, enter. 0.078, enter. 0.023, enter. 0.013, enter. And 0.008, enter. Okay, so now when I get to this step, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and quit this. So I'm going to go second and quit. I'm going to come back to my stat button. I'm going to click on that one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my one variable stats. So what I did, y'all, when I hit the stat button, I hit the little right arrow to get my calculator or my calculations. I'm going to do my one variable stats. So I'm going to hit enter here. Now, y'all, my calculator, this is a little bit of an older one. So your calculator may look slightly different, but on mine, this is what I need to do. I need to go second and L1, and then I'm going to hit comma, second L2, okay? And I'm going to hit enter. Okay, so we got a couple of things going on here. And so let's see. It's asking me to find the mean, the variance, and the standard deviation, the probability distribution. Okay, so let's see. My mean, y'all, is going to be the 0.511. So right here, oops, right here, I'm going to enter in 0.511. Let me pull my calculator back up. Okay, so if you notice right here on my calculator, I have that sigma x towards the bottom, and it's a 0.927, all that kind of good stuff. It's asking me to go to 1 decimal place, right? So to 1 decimal place, y'all, I would just put 0.9. And then look at this one here. It's asking me for the standard deviation. So remember, if I do a little stare and compare, y'all, this is sigma squared. So if I were to take 0.9 and square it, I should get 0.81. And it's asked me to go to 1 decimal place, so I'm just going to put 0.8. Okay. And my mistake right here, y'all, it was asking me to go to one decimal place, so I'm going to put 0.5. Okay. Now, before I go on and answer this part of the question here, y'all, sorry. Before I go on and answer this part of the question, are you all okay? Are you all able to do what I did on the calculator?
Yes.
Yeah. Christine, is it working for you too? And Caitlin, is it working for y'all too?
I mean, I was able to do like the lists, but then the other thing where you
Okay.
have to like go back, like I got kind of, I don't know how anybody remembers all these steps. Like that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like every problem takes me like 15 minutes, and a lot of it's just like fiddling with the calculator.
Yeah. Like I said, see, so the thing is that trying to do it manually takes even longer, and that's why I'm like, guys, the calculator is going to be like so much more useful. But I agree, some of these problems do take time to do. So look, we're here on stat, right? On stat, right? And so I still have the same list because I haven't cleared anything. So Christine, when you get to this step, and I think you had that calculator app, didn't you? Didn't you have like the Calculate X or something like that?
Yeah, I have calculator X.
Okay, so when you get to this step and you're doing this, I'm guessing you're doing this like on your phone. Do me a favor, click here, click on Calc, and then does the first one say one variable stats?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and hit enter for me. Now I'm going to try to do this on my. You know what? I have a similar app. I don't have the one you have, but I have another one on my phone, and I'm just kind of curious to how it opens up. So let me see. Stat, count, one variable stat. Okay, so let's see. On yours, Christine, does it say something like list and then frequency list or something like that?
Yes.
Okay, so for under list, what you're going to do, you're going to hit the second button, and you're going to hit number 1 so it can pull up list 1. And then you might have to hit either the enter or maybe this like little down arrow button. And then under frequency list, you're going to hit second and then number 2 so it can pull up L2, the second list. Okay, and then once you have that, then you should be able to hit enter and the
Does
numbers.
does
I'm
does
sorry, go ahead.
frequently list the frequent list it stays blank?
I'm sorry, the frequency list should be your L2.
Oh, that one should be L2. Okay.
Yeah, so the first list will be your L1, Christine, and then your second, the frequency list will be your L2.
Oh, okay. Now I got it. Now I got it. That's
It's
what I
working now?
was. Yeah, I was putting both of them in the first list and then leaving
Yeah, and
the.
it's just part of it is like on because the calculator that I have, like I'll be real honest with you, TI-83 plus, this is like I don't know, maybe even the 1990s, I don't remember. But this is like it's just an older calculator. And so like the apps work more like the 84 or the 84 silver or that kind of thing. But it's just because this is like a school computer, they're real like I can't download anything on this computer. That's why like on my iPad, since it's my iPad, I can put the apps on there and stuff like that. All right, so look, we got
Sir,
the numbers. I'm
sir,
sorry,
I
go ahead.
can't get to that page. Like, you know where you're at? Like, I can do the table and I have the table down, but
Uh-huh.
the screen that you're at on your
On
calculator,
my calculator.
I don't know how to get there.
Okay, so let me show you. So let me clear this out here. So let's see. You're going to hit the stat button again, right? And when you hit the stat button, does it look like this?
Yes.
Okay, then do me a favor. Click the arrow so you can get under calculate.
Okay.
And then do you see number 1 says one variable stats?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to hit enter there. And let me ask you a question. Your calculator, does it look like this, or does yours say something like list 1 and frequency list? Does yours say anything like that? Or
No,
does yours look like...
it looks like yours.
Okay, so then what you're going to do here, you're going to hit second and L1. And then you're going to hit the comma, second and L2. So the first list will be our regular list, and then the second one is going to be for our frequency. And then what we're going to do now, we're going to hit enter.
Okay, yeah, I got it.
You got it now? Okay, perfect. Great. So guys, look, now that we've done this part here, now that we came up with this part, so remember what mean stands for. Mean stands for the average, right? Okay, so when I look at my choices here, the first thing I notice is that there's a keyword here. The keyword is the average, okay? So look what it says. Look, choice A says a household on average has 0.9 dog. Choice B says an average has 0.5 dog. C says average has 0.9 dog. D says average has 0.5 dog. So the first thing I do is I notice my average is 0.5. So that's telling me I know it can't be those. It can't be those numbers right there because it has to be an average with 0.5. And then the second part, it talks about the standard deviation. So I'm going to look at this next part, standard deviation. Okay, so here's my standard deviation. My standard deviation is 0.9. So then I'm going to say, look, it's going to have to be choice B because we came up with an average of 0.5 and a standard deviation of 0.9.
Awesome.
Okay, so sometimes y'all, like going through the process, like, yeah, we're able to compute it, but what does this really mean? So think about what they were telling us here in this problem, right? In this problem, they were telling us, they were looking at how many dogs do people have in their household in a small town, right? So suppose we pick the town La Villa. I don't know if y'all know where La Villa is, but it's on the other side of Elsa, and it's a pretty small town. Like there's a population of, I don't even know if it's 2,000 people, right? So they would say, look, um, the number of, or the percent of households that don't have any dogs would be 0.684. There's about 19% of the households that have one dog. There's about 7.8% of the households that have two dogs. There's about 2% of the households that have three dogs. About 1% of the households that have four dogs. And about 0.8% of the households have five dogs, right? So if you notice, most of the households don't have a dog at all, right? So if we were to take the average, right, because there's so many homes that don't have a dog, that's why the average ended up being something like 0.5, right? And you would say, like, how can you have 0.5 of a dog? It's not that you have 0.5 of a dog. It's just that since there's so many homes that don't have any dogs, the average ends up being 0.5, right? And then the standard deviation, remember, refers to the spread, right? So the average is 0.5, where the standard deviation, meaning there's some households that have one more dog, and I'm saying one more because 0.9 is really close to one, right? And then the next deviation would be two dogs, and the next deviation would be three dogs, right? So that's kind of what it is we're looking at as we're doing this here, right? But again, y'all, without the calculator, it would be like tons and tons and tons of calculations to do. And so, Christine, I agree with you that yes, these problems definitely take time to do on the calculator. But I'm hoping that now that we've gone through something like this, that whenever you decide to take your test, if you do have a problem like number 11, you're going to say, you know what, I remember doing this. I think I can remember the steps on how to get there. Okay. All right, let's see. Any other questions here, y'all, that y'all might have for me out of anything? Please don't be shy. Ask me. This is why I'm here. Anything. I heard something in the chat. Definitely, Eric. I just saw what Kaylin and Eric wrote. So he's like, I'm writing it on a notebook step by step, and definitely, yeah, I agree. Writing the little steps down on how to do it is definitely going to be helpful. Yes, sir. I agree with you guys. Any other questions y'all have? Anything? Don't be shy. Want you guys to do well. No?
I'm giving the others a chance.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Are there any other questions y'all have for me, y'all? Anything?
How do I get rid of the list that I was doing? Like now.
Yes, ma'am. Excellent. Yeah, definitely. Let me show you how you're going to do that. So what you're going to do now, let me go ahead and show you this way. So, oops. Okay. That's not what I was trying to do. Okay, so what you're going to do, you're going to hit the stat button again, right? And on number 1, where it says edit, you're just going to go ahead and hit enter. And so, Christine, let me show you how you're going to do this. So if you notice, I moved over from list 2 to list 1, right? And then I'm going to hit the little up arrow at the top. And now I'm highlighting under the L1, and you're just going to hit the clear button, and you're going to hit enter. And that's going to clear that list. And then to clear list 2, you're going to click over here, and you're going to do the little up arrow. And now I'm highlighting under the L2, and I'm going to clear that one, and I'm going to hit enter. And now I'm back in business, and I can, start entering my list as I need to go through.
I couldn't figure it out. I was like, this whole time I was trying to delete it.
I'll put it this way. Again, before the pandemic, y'all, what I had folks doing is they were just going over here and they were just making a new list. So instead of doing like list 1 and list 2, they were doing like list 5 and list 6 because they didn't know how to clear it out. But yeah, that's all you got to do. And trust me, it took me a little while to figure it out too, y'all. So guys, let me ask you all a question. Like if I'm looking at like problems like 24, 25,
27.
Problems, 27. You want me to do 27?
Yes.
Yes, let's do 27. Okay. So good. Here we go. It says the monthly utility bills in a city are normally distributed with a mean of 100. Okay. First thing I'm going to do here, y'all, I'm going to write my mean is 100 and my standard deviation is 16. And it says we got 3 parts. Part A says find the probability that a randomly selected bill is less than 70. Okay, so for part A, y'all, we're trying to find the probability that X is smaller than 70. Okay, so real quick, y'all, what I'm going to do before I come back over here, I'm going to pull up, my formula sheet so you guys can look at exactly what I'm looking at. And this is what I have right here. I thought there was more to the formula sheet. I'm going to check something, y'all, because I thought there was more to the formula sheet than just this part. But let's see. Okay, so here's my formula for how to convert my X value to a Z score. So it's X minus mu over theta. So right here, we're going to go Z is X minus mu over theta, okay? So our X number is 70, so we're gonna say 70 minus 100. Y'all, when I do this on my calculator, I'm gonna make sure I put that in parentheses because I have to do that calculation first, divided by 16. Okay, so let me grab my calculator. Here it is. Let me quit that because I don't need to look at this part. Okay, so we're gonna go 70 minus 100, parentheses divided by 16. Okay, so what I'm coming up with is negative 1.875. Okay, so now for part A, y'all, what we're really doing is we're saying what's the probability that Z is smaller than 1.875. So remember, when we've been doing our class sessions, y'all, remember what I've been doing? I'll draw my normal curve, looks something like this, right? Here's 0, 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3. The number that I'm really interested in this case is negative 1.875. And since my arrow is pointing to the left, remember this means that I'm shading this way. So remember over here, y'all, is my negative infinity, and over here is my positive infinity. And I think those of y'all who are here today were big fans of the calculator instead of using the table.
Yes.
So remember, if I'm coming over here to the negative infinity, wouldn't I use my negative 9999?
Yes.
And I'm going to stop at negative 1.875.
Yes.
So far, am I doing okay, y'all? And so let me grab my calculator. So second and vars and normal CDF, and we're going to go negative 9999, comma, negative 1.875, and close that off. And so what I'm coming up with here, y'all, is 0.0304. So 0.0304. So right here, y'all, I'm going to write 0.0304. Okay. And then we're going to do part B. So here's part B. It says, find the probability that a randomly selected utility bill is between 85 and 120. Okay, so for part B, y'all.
Sir, for some reason, when I do what you were doing right now, I get an error on the calculator.
When you do, oops, sorry, hold on. When you do this part right here.
Yes.
Okay, so do me a favor. Can you take a screenshot? I mean, are you using a calculator or are you using an app?
I'm using an app.
Okay, do me a favor. Can you take a screenshot of it and send it to me directly on Pronto so I can take a look at what you're writing so I can double check to make sure that everything is coming out the way it's supposed to. Sometimes it's easier if I can actually see your screen. And I know in an online setting, it's not so easy to do. So as I'm waiting for that, y'all, I'm going to pull something up here because I'm thinking from the review sheet. Oh man, what is it? Formula sheet test 2. Pulling this one up here. I want to see if there's anything that I'm missing. No, I have everything here. Okay, so let me see. Taking a look. You know why? Look what you're writing. You're writing. You're putting. In your case, it was -2. Let's see. Normal CDF. -999, -2. Let's see. I'm going to try the same thing on my app. Second bars, normal CDF, negative 999, comma, 2. Yeah. Let me come back and look at this one more time. Why is it coming out that way? All right, give me 1 second, Kimberlyn, so I can figure out exactly why yours is doing that. But I'm going to think of something in a second, hopefully, to figure out why yours is acting up, because it seems like it's acting up a little bit. Let's see. So guys, let me do part B, and I'm going to think about your problem, Kaylin. I don't want you to think that I'm forgetting about it, because I'm not. Okay, so part B says between 85 and 120. Okay, so y'all, I'm going to do the same thing here. I need to find 2 z-scores, okay? So I'm going to call, say, one of them Z1, and it's going to be 85 minus 100 over 16. And so let me do this on my calculator. Hold on, here we go, clear this out. So 85 minus 100 divided by 16, and it's 0.9375 with a negative. And my Z2 is going to be 120 minus 100 over 16. So let's try that. 120 minus 100 over 16, 1.25. Okay, so what I'm going to write here, y'all, now is my z-score is supposed to be between these 2 values. So again, if I draw my normal curve, looks something like this. Here's 0, 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. The numbers that I'm interested in here, y'all, is this right here, negative 0.9375, and somewhere right about here, 1.25. Right? So again, if I do this on my calculator, I'm going to write normal CDF and negative 0.9375, comma, 1.25, and let me see. So second bars, normal CDF, negative 0.9375, comma, 1.25, enter. So y'all, what I came up with on my calculator here, if I go to 4 decimal places, and again, I'm doing this one on my app, and I have the same app that you have, Kayla Lynn, I'm coming up with 0.7201. So let me see something. I'm going to try something real quick, Kayla Lynn. So let me see. So this is what you have, negative 999, comma, negative 2. So second was normal CDF, negative 9999, comma, negative 2. Hit that, hit enter, and that's what I'm coming up with. All right. So Caitlin, I'm just sending you like a little like I recorded my screen, and I just sent you how I did this on my calculator with the same problem you have. So whenever you get a chance, just double check. Maybe I don't know if you know there was something I did differently, but I just sent you a little kind of like a little screenshot video on how I did your problem earlier. If it works, let me know. If it doesn't, let me know. We'll figure something out. Okay, so let's see. There is a so 0.7201 is my answer for part B. So where are we right here? 0.7201. Okay, and then there's a part C, y'all. What's the probability that it's more than 150? Okay. So the probability that X is more than 150 is going to say Z equals 150 minus 100 over 16. So let me do this here. 150 minus 100 over 16. And I'm coming up with 3.125. So we're going to say, what's the probability that Z is greater than 3.125? And so again, if I do this on my calculator, normal CDF, 3.125, right? And if I think about my picture, y'all, 0, 1, 2, 3. So 3.125 is right about here. And since it's greater than, we are shading to the right. So this is going to go towards infinity. So I'm going to use my comma 99999. And so again, one more time, I'll go second bars, normal CDF, 3.125, comma, 1, 2, 3, 4. Close it, hit enter. And so guys, I'm coming up with this number here. I heard something in the chat. I'll check it right now. So just to give you a heads up, when you come up with something like this, I'm going to write 8.89. And then it had that, look at my calculator, I had that e to the negative 4, right? Okay, what this means here, y'all, if my exponent is negative, I'm going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces this way. So this is what I would end up writing. I would have 0.000889. And if we're going to go to 4 decimal places, y'all, it would be 0.00. I've got to change that number to a 9. Okay. So let me see. I heard something in the chat. Let me come back over here. Caitlin, it worked. Awesome. Good, 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 good. Perfect. Okay, I'm glad it worked, Caitlin. So perfect. Let's come back over here and let me put that number in for my answer right here, 0.009. Perfect. Okay, I'm so glad that it worked for you. I was worrying that there was a glitch in the little app or something like that, but if it's working, that's perfect. All righty. Y'all, any other questions y'all want me to go over?
Let me pull up a final one.
Of course.
Let me see. It's one of the last ones. It's a Z-score one. Let me see. I'm trying to. I'm in the toss-up in between 32 and 33.
Okay,
well,
let's take a look.
32 might be easy because it's to the left.
We're going to do
33.
There you go.
33. Definitely.
33 because it's to the right.
Yeah, it's to the right. No, definitely. Perfect. Look, y'all, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to draw my picture here, right? Okay. Here's 0, here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Okay, so first thing it's telling me is that 61.8% of the area is to the right. Okay, so y'all, as a decimal, do you agree that this would be 0.618? because right now we're as a
Yes.
percent. If I make it to a decimal, it's gonna look like this. So y'all, I know that in the middle, you know, half right at the 0 mark, half, you know, on the right side it's 0.5, on the left side it's 0.5. So 0.618, I don't know exactly where it is, but it would be somewhere over here. So what this would tell me is that the area in the red is 0.618, right? Now remember we know that the total area, right, is equal to 1, right? So suppose I wanted to find this area, okay, the area in the blue. Wouldn't I take 1 minus 0.618 so that I could find the area in the blue? So if I were to do that on my calculator, y'all, I would go 1 minus 0.618, right? And that would tell me that the area in the blue is 0.382. Okay. So now that I know that the area to the left is 0.382, the way we can find that z-score, y'all, is we can say, look, let's find the inverse norm of 0.382. Now think about it this way. The reason why we're using something called the inverse norm, the inverse means we want to go back, right? So what would the z-score be so that the area would be 0.382? And again, y'all, whether I'm using my calculator or when I'm using my table, they always tell me the area to the left. So look, I'm going to go second bars, and the third one down, y'all, has the inverse norm. So I'm going to click on that one there, and I'm going to type in 0.382, and look what we're coming up with, 0.300, right? So it's telling me to go to 2 decimal places. So I would just say z is negative 0.30, because that's what we came up with. Does that make sense on how we're able to do this one? For 33? Yes. Yeah. So like for 32, y'all, since it's already telling you the area to the left, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just doing mine like at the same time. And it...
Is it not working?
I got it wrong.
Yeah, I got it wrong too.
Hold on, let me try one more time.
So let me ask you, we'll do it like this. Okay, so Eric and Christine. Okay, so we're doing your 33. On your 33, Eric, what is the area to the right?
62.9, so it's 0.629.
Okay, so that's right. We would write 0.629. So the way we're going to find the area to the left is we're going to say, what's 1 minus 0.629? So
I got 0.370.
Yeah, 1 minus 0.629 is 0.371?
Yes.
So then when we go inverse norm of 0.371.
Yes, 0.371. And then
second bars, inverse norm. Did you come up with, so remember, it's going to tell you to go to 2 decimal places. Are you writing negative 0.33?
I put negative 329.
Okay, but it's telling on the directions, it's telling us to go to 2 decimal places, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah, so it's going to equal
yours, Eric, would be negative 0.33, right?
Let's go. Oh, let me see. 0.33. And now
I think that's what I had done too. I think I messed up with
I'll redo it. Mine docked it because I didn't put the 0 in the front. Let me redo the problem.
Okay, Christine, did yours work?
I just clicked it to do like a similar, so I'm gonna run through it real quick.
Okay, yeah, take your time. Guys, I'm gonna get another glass of water and I'll be right back.
Alrighty. Just simply 0.663. 1 minus 0.663 goes 0.337. Inverse norm. 0.337.
Okay.
There we go.
Is it working now, Eric?
I got it right the second time.
Excellent. Perfect. Perfect. Christine, whenever you get yours, if it's working, let us know, and if it's not, let us know too. So we can
I did I did too this time. I did too. I got it right.
Okay, awesome, great, perfect, good guys. Let me ask you a question. Are you guys feeling a little bit better?
Way better.
Way better. Christine, feeling? How you guys feeling?
I'm okay. I mean, this last test was I don't know. It
Like the one
was
you're gonna,
like
like you're talking about this one, right?
no, not the newest one. The last one that we just took, the last quiz or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Um, I mean, I felt really good about it, and I still didn't get 100. Like at the end, I was like, oh my God, like I did so awesome. And then I got the score, and I was like, oh no, I didn't. So I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. And I take
Yeah.
so much time. Like, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
working on this. Like, I feel like Goodwill Hunting, you know? Like I'm like filling up my paper and like writing all this stuff, and then I don't know.
Yeah. Well, so one thing I want to emphasize, y'all, um, and I can't really emphasize this enough. So one thing I would tell you to do, like Eric, I think Eric, one of the things that Eric put in the chat, y'all, and I'm going to pull that up just so y'all can see that again. Let me come back over here. So this part right here, y'all, where Eric put about, he's like writing this part step by step. So let me just show, I don't know if y'all know how to do this or not. Eric, I think I know you do, but Kaylin, in case you, I mean, sorry, Christine, in case you don't, so like, look, I'm pulling up my particular problem, right? And this is my question number one. And this is just, it's just a suggestion, right? I'm not telling you this is something you absolutely need to do, but I think it might be helpful. So right under here where it says get more help, hit print. And instead of hitting the first one, print out the entire assignment. Okay, I don't know if you have access to a printer, or if you're working and there's a printer at work, or if you're ever at school, you can print out the whole thing. But I would recommend printing up the entire assignment, right? And that's what I did, y'all. That's how I was able to get this thing out, right? I printed out the entire thing. And then I would work through the review, right? And then as you're getting your answers, so like, I'm going to make this up. So when we did number 27, I wrote my answers here, and then I would go into my lab and I would enter them in, making sure I'm getting everything right. But I would write all this stuff down, right? And then whenever you get ready to take the test, have this paper with you. You know what I mean? And y'all, I'm saying doing it on paper, but like I'm teaching a class on campus in Westville right now. It's not this class; it's a pre-calculus class, and one of the students in there has an iPad, and on his iPad he has like a note-taking app. This one, his is called Notability, but I don't know if any of you guys have like a tablet or whatever, but you can always print it out as a PDF, and then you can write on your screen, just like, kind of like what I'm doing here. But the idea is you have notes of some sort, you know what I mean? And if you're getting the problems correctly, then when you go take the test, you're going to take those notes with you as you're taking the test to make sure that, you know what I mean, you're kind of following the steps. And if you're writing something down, like, I'm just going to make this up. Like, how do I do this? Oh, I'm going to go second, and then bars, and then normal CDF, right? You could write something like this on your paper, or even like the one that we just did right now. I'm going to scroll over here till we get to the end, because we just did these. Here we go, right? So how do I find my inverse norm? I'm going to go second, and then bars, and then clean this up because that looks a little bit messy, and then inverse norm, right? Something like that. Or even like the one that we did earlier. Let me scroll back. I know, guys, looks a little weird because I'm just scrolling, but let me get to what I want to show you guys. What is it? What is it? What is it? Here we go. So like, I'm going to go like this. I'm going to hit my stat button. I'm going to hit the edit button. I'm going to go to list one, and I'm going to put 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to hit my stat button. I'm going to go to edit. I'm going to go to list 2, and I'm going to enter in those numbers like 0.0, .194.078. You see what I'm doing? So that you have kind of like the stats on, I'm missing something here. Okay. And then I'm going to go to stats, and I'm going to go to calculate, and I'm going to click on one variable stats. And my list one, or my list is going to be list one, and my frequency is going to be list two. But the idea here, y'all, is that you're kind of writing down how you're doing the problem, so that when you're doing this, when you're taking your test or your quiz or whatever it happens to be, you kind of have something to go back and reference to. So if you're not doing that, it's something I would highly recommend that you do. And you can watch like the videos as you're going through the stuff, but make sure that you use the resources that you guys have available, so that you're able to kind of figure this thing out. But I think, excuse me, I think some of those steps might be helpful. Anywho, are there any other questions y'all want me to go over, y'all? I'm happy to help you guys. Want to make sure you guys feel okay about everything. No, going once, going twice.
How much time do we have to take the test?
I'm not going to put a time limit. I'll probably,
Okay.
if I put a time limit, it's probably going to be something like 5 hours or something like that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You'll have plenty of time. Yeah. But you guys, I'll probably put a time limit, but it'll probably be something like 5 hours, and it's only 15 questions. You know what I mean? So you'll have plenty of time to get it done. Anything else, y'all?
Anybody else? Number 7, sir.
Number 7. Definitely. Let's go through number 7. Here we go. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, number 7 here says an environmental agency is analyzing water samples from 79 lakes for pollution. 7 of the lakes have dangerously high levels of dioxin. 6 lakes are randomly selected from the sample. Using technology, how many ways could 1 polluted lake and 5 non-polluted lakes be chosen? Okay, so let's figure something out here. We have a total of 79 lakes, right? And so out of those out of the 79, 7 of them are polluted, which tells me that 72 are not polluted, right? Okay, so we're going to pick a total of 6 lakes. And it says, using technology, how could 1 polluted lake and 5 non-polluted lakes be chosen? Okay, so we're going to choose 1 polluted lake. So out of the 7, we're going to choose 1 of them, right? And if we choose 7 from the non-polluted, then that means out of the 72, we're going to choose how many? 5 that are non-polluted, right? And so let me see. Let me grab my calculator here. So I'm going to do this here. I'm going to say 7 math probability. We're going to scroll down to we're going to choose 1 times 72 math probability, and we're going to choose 5, and I'm going to hit enter, and I'm coming up with a really big number like 979,408,08.
Okay.
And that's the number that I'm coming up with.
Okay. Okay.
Could you just go through the steps one more time, just on the calculator?
Yes, ma'am, of course. So let me show you how I'm going to do this on the calculator again. So just like I had the way I have it up here, Christine, I'm going to type that in exactly as I see it in my calculator. So I'm going to go 7, and then the math button right here is right underneath the alpha button. I'm going to hit math, and I want to get to the probability. So the way I can get to the probability is I can just hit my arrow, and then I'm going to, my right arrow, and then I'm going to scroll down until I get to the combination, the choose, the C one. I'm going to hit enter, and then I'm choosing 1, and then I'm going to do times 72. I'm going to come back and hit math. I'm going to get to my probability. So I'm going to go to the PRB again by using my right arrow. I'm going to scroll down again until I hit my combination button, and I'm going to choose 5, and then I'm going to hit enter, and there it is.
Where do you get the choose 1 from?
Okay, excellent question. So look, in the problem right here, it says, let me clean this, oops, let me clean this mess up right here. So on the problem here, it says, using technology, how many ways could 1 polluted lake and 5 non-polluted lakes be chosen? So we know we had a total of 79 lakes, and it said 7 of them were polluted. So if 7 were polluted, that has to tell me that 72 are not polluted, because we had a total of 79. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so then remember what we're going to do. We're going to pick 1 polluted lake. So from the 7 that are polluted, I'm going to choose 1.
Oh,
and then
okay.
from the 72 that are not polluted, I'm going to choose 5. Does that make more sense?
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Good, good, good. Excellent, good. Good questions, Al.
Okay, got it. 5. 1 times.
Any other ones, go?
Six, 5. 5.
Okay, can I ask one more thing?
Yeah, of course, definitely.
Okay, on mine, I have 75 lakes is my
Okay.
total, and
Okay, so
5
let's go
of
like this.
them,
75,
75
so
is
we know
mine, and then
5 are
5
polluted.
are polluted. So then the
So that
bottom one
means,
is 70.
that's right. And then it says, how many ways can we choose what?
1.
1
So
polluted. Okay. So we're
it's
going to
gonna be
say
choose 1 times 70.
70 choose. How many were we going to, how many non-polluted we're going to pick? So like if you look in your problem, see like mine here says 1 polluted and 5 non-polluted lakes.
Oh, let me see.
So on yours, how many polluted and how many non-polluted are we going to pick?
It's 1 polluted and 5 non.
And 5 non-polluted?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to choose 1 that's polluted and we're going to choose 5 that are not polluted.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how we would do it, Christine. So again, on my calculator, I would go 5 math PRB. We're going to choose 1, right? Times 70 math
And then the 5.
PRB, and that's right. Hit enter, and then we're going to choose 5, and then hit enter again. And I'm coming up with 605, 150, 70.
Yeah, that's what I got too.
Okay. And it should be what you know about.
But I got it wrong.
Ah, okay. Let's see.
Is it because I'm not supposed to? I put 6052.
Oh,
So
okay,
now,
okay. But no, no, no. You want to enter in the entire number. So I know it says round to 4 decimal places, but remember, decimal would be at the end, right? And we don't have any decimal
oh
places.
yeah, okay.
So you want to enter in the exact whole number. Yeah, that one. It's they should not have put round to 4 decimal places because there are no decimals in this problem. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
now it took it with that one to take off the.
Yeah. There you go. Good. Good. Good.
Are are a lot of the questions similar to the last quiz that we just took?
So let me see. Give me 1 second so I can, because in all honesty, I don't remember what the last quiz was. So I need to go back and take a quick look. Let's see. Let me see. Let me do this real quick, y'all. Let me stop sharing the screen just for a second so I can go back and look at the quiz. Let me see. Where are we? Where
Like
are we?
I can't open up my quiz anymore, but I know that like I wanted to see if what I missed is on
Yes.
the
Okay. So
test.
let me show you how you can. I'm going to show you real quick, actually, how you can actually see what you how you did on your quiz and which problems you missed and all that kind of good stuff. Okay. So let me see. Let me share my screen again with you guys. Okay, here it is. So right here, Christine, in my lab, if you click under gradebook, so this is going to show my grades as a student. And as a student, I haven't done a whole lot of anything. But if you click right here, you can it'll automatically by default it says past 2 weeks. But if you hit entire course to date, it'll pull up every single assignment that we've gone over. And you should be able to see wherever your quiz 2 is, and then you can click on review, and it'll pull up your quiz and it'll tell you which problems you got right and which problems you got wrong and all that kind of good stuff. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, good, good, good. Okay, so guys, let me stop sharing this real quick so I can take a quick look at what does the quiz have compared to the test. So give me 1 second. Okay, so let me check something real quick, y'all. Okay, so the test, y'all, goes up to 5.3. And on the quiz, just to give you a heads up, the quiz, the last 2 questions from the quiz had 5.4. And I did not put 5.4 on the test. So the test only went up to 5.3. So what that means, Christine, is as you're reviewing your quiz or you're wondering about your quiz, if you miss problems like say 9 or 10, problems like 9 or 10 are not on the test at all. But if there's certain problems that you want me to go over from the quiz, I'm more than happy to do that too. Excuse me.
Well, like I missed some of question 3, not the whole thing.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Let's go. We'll go through question 3. Give me 1 second, y'all. What I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to pull up question 3, and I'm going to pull up like what would be my question 3, but it should be, you know, very similar to what you have. Okay.
Oh,
And
you know what? I see exactly what I missed. The two that I missed on there was just um like I should have taken off the negative. Do you know what
the
I mean?
negative,
Like the answer I put was like well, like for one of them, for instance, is like I put negative 0.77 and the actual answer was 0.77.
and this is for question 3. Is this one about the test, the exam test scores?
Yes.
Okay. So look, I'll tell you what. Let's actually, you know what? Give me one quick second. So what I'm going to show you guys, give me one second. Let me do this. Let's go like this. And let's see. Okay. So look, y'all, I want to say that we have that question in the homework. I'm sorry, in the review. So let me see if I can find it, because we do have a question. I want to say we have a question like that. Let me see if I can find it. I thought we had one. Here we go. Look at, isn't this one like the question you were talking about, Liz? I'm sorry, Christine.
Yeah, that one is. You know,
Okay, so look.
the other one
Uh-huh.
that I missed part it, not the whole thing, but um question 4, there's two of them. There was like that's like a 5-part question also. And
And
there's two part
that's from the quiz.
that's in the quiz, yeah.
Okay,
And
so give me. So let me ask you a question. Do you want me to do this? Is the one? This was question 3 from the quiz. Do you want me to go over this one?
I'd actually prefer 4 because that one
Okay.
I got them right. I just it was like a simple mistake. But
Okay. Let me
4,
pull up. Let me figure out what question 4 looks like.
okay.
And I'll pull that one up so that we can see if there's one like that on the review as well.
I
Okay,
mean
this is the one about the. I'm sorry. Go
if
ahead.
you want to do 3 also, I mean just to help everybody else out because you said that it's
Yeah.
on the test. I don't mind going
Yes.
through it again just as a refresher.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll tell you what. Let me do. I'm going to do a couple of things first. Let me try this real quick. Oh, hold on. Okay. And let's go like this. And like this. And like this. And let me put this. Put this on over here. Okay. So let me share my screen with you guys again so you can see what I'm looking at. And I'm just going to grab some more water, y'all. For some reason, I'm really thirsty today. Okay. And my cat's here and he's begging me to feed him something. So let me get him something to eat and I'm going to get some water. I'll be right back. So look, y'all, I put, this is like the one from the quiz from number 3. And then what I also did is I did a little copy and paste and I put the question, like question 4 from the quiz as well. Okay. So let me grab some water and then we will go through both those questions. All right. So let's see. Let's go through this one here and let's see if we can't make sense out of it. And let's see, it says standardized exam scores are normally distributed. So we know that our mean here is 1532. And we know our standard deviation is 320. Okay, so we want to find the z-scores for each of these. So y'all, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go x minus mu over sigma. So in this case, my x score is 1960. So 1960 minus 1532 over 320. Let me grab my calculator real quick. Let's clear this out. So again, I'm going to go parentheses. 1960 minus 1532. Oops. 1532 over 320. And I'm coming up with 1.3375. And it's telling me to round to 2 decimal places. So here, y'all, I would put 1.34. Okay. And I'm just going to follow this same formula for each of the problems. So we have now 1290. So 1290 minus 1532 over 320. So we're going to go parentheses 1290 minus 1532 over 320. And I'm coming up with a negative 0.75625. So again, y'all, if I'm going to go to 2 decimal places, oops, negative 0.76. And for the next one, I'm going to go 2230 minus 1532 all over 320. So 2230 minus 1532 all over 320. And I'm coming up with 2.18125. So again, if I go to 2 decimal places, y'all, I should come up with 2.18. And then for my last one, it's going to be 1410 minus 1532 over 320. Oops, 1410, I'm sorry. Minus 1532 over 320. And I'm coming up with negative 0.38125. So again, the 2 decimal places, y'all, negative 0.38. Okay, now it's asking me to find my unusual values, right? So y'all, anything that has a z-score that's bigger than 2 or smaller than negative 2 would be an unusual value. So the unusual value is this one here. And what was that test score? That test score was the 2230. Because it gave me a z-value of more than 2. And if you're wondering, how do we know that? Let me come back here, y'all. If I look at my formula sheet, let me pull this up for you so you can have this again as a reference. So if you notice right here, y'all, unusual scores is anytime I'm bigger than 2 or smaller than negative 2, right? When my z-score is more than 2 or smaller than negative 2, that's going to be an unusual score. So that's how I knew that was going to be that would be my answer for that one, right? Okay, and so Christine, just to give you a heads up, if like, I know you said like you had a negative and the answer was positive, that would just mean that when you subtracted those numbers, you subtracted them the wrong way. So the formula is always going to be like this, like that x minus mu over sigma. Okay, so look, let's go to this was question number 4, y'all, from the quiz. And let's see if we can't figure this out. Okay, so let me take a look here, and it says, in a group of men in the heights of the 20 to 29 age group were normally distributed. So we know that the mean height, so mu, is 68.5. And we know that our sigma, our standard deviation, is 2. And we're going to find part A. What's the probability that the height is less than 65 inches? Okay, so part A says, what's the probability that x is smaller than 65? So remember, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this to a z-score. So I'm going to say 65 minus mu, which is 68.5, divided by 2. Okay, so let me do this on my calculator. So parentheses 65 minus 68.5 divided by 2. So I'm coming up with a negative 1.75. So remember what we're going to do now. We're going to say, what's the probability that z is smaller than negative 1.75? So again, if I think about my normal curve here, here's what it looks like. Here's 0, 1, 2, 3, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Negative 1.75 would be somewhere right about here. And since we're looking to the left, because of my arrow, I'm going towards negative infinity. So I'm going to use my normal CDF with a negative 9999 and a negative 1.75. So oops, let me do this on my calculator here, y'all. So I'm going to go second bars, oops, normal CDF, negative 9999, comma, negative 1.75. And the number that I'm coming up with is right there. It's asking me to go to 4 decimal places. So y'all, I would write in 0.0401. So right here, I'm going to put 0.0401. Okay. Now, we're going to do the same thing for part B. Part B says, what's the probability that their height is between 65 and 70 inches? So part B is saying, what's the probability, what's the probability that x is between 65, keep making a mistake here, and 70. So look, y'all, we already converted this part to a z-score. We got to do the same thing here. So we're going to use this formula, 70 minus 68.5 divided by 2. Okay. So let me do this part on my calculator. So I'm going to say 70 minus 68.5. Close that up. We're going to divide it by 2. And I'm coming up with a 0.75. Okay. So 0.75 right here. Okay. So now, remember, we had already done the z-score for 65, and that's how we came up with this number. So now we're going to say, what's the probability that z is between negative 1.75 and positive 0.75, right? So again, if I draw my normal curve, it looks something like this, right? Here's 0, 1, 2, 3, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. I'm looking at negative 1.75 and a positive 0.75, and we're just trying to find the area in the middle. So we're going to say, look, we're going to use our normal CDF with a negative 1.75 and a comma, positive 0.75. So let's do that there. Second bars, normal CDF, excuse me, negative 1.75, comma, 0.75. And to 4 decimal places, y'all, I'm coming up with 0.7333. So over here, for part B, I'm going to say 0.7333. So far, are we doing okay, y'all, on this question from the quiz?
Yes.
Excellent. Good. Okay, so look, we're almost done. what's the probability that it's more than 70 inches? So the nice thing about this problem, y'all, we've already found those z-scores, right? So part C, when it says what's the probability that x is more than 70, since we already converted that to a z-score, it's saying what's the probability that z is greater than 0.75? So 0.75 is right about here. And because it's greater than, I'm looking for the area to the right. So I'm going towards infinity. So again, on my calculator, y'all, I'm going to go normal CDF. And we're going to start at 0.75, and we're going to go all the way to the nines. So let's do that here. Normal CDF, 0.75, comma, 1, 2, 3, 4. And to 4 decimal places, y'all, I'm coming up with 0.2266. Okay, so let me come back over here, and I'm going to write 0.2266. Okay, so now that we've answered parts A, B, and C, we can do part D. It says identify any unusual events. Okay, so it says the event in part B is unusual because the probability is less than 0.05. Well, no, this one is not smaller than 0.05. So I know that choice A is not going to be an answer. Choice B says none of the events are unusual because all the probabilities are greater than 0.05. Well, not all of them are greater than 0.05. Look at this one. That's not greater than 0.05. So I know that choice B is not going to be one of my answers. Choice C says the events in parts B and C are unusual because the probabilities are less than 0.05, but they are not as well. And then choice D says the event in part A is unusual because its probability is less than 0.05. Yes, it is. This probability here is smaller than 0.05. That's why it's considered to be unusual. And so that's how basically we would have to do number 4. So Christina, as you were going to number 4, do you see like maybe where you made a mistake, or do you see where you might have gotten the problem, like maybe skipped a step or something like that?
I'm thinking maybe I must have skipped a step, or maybe I inputted something in the calculator incorrectly.
Yeah. So guys, one thing I want to say real quick, and let me see if I can pull this up here. So you guys are still here with me. So let me see if I can do it like this, y'all. Let me see. Let me just pull this back up. Okay. So the thing about the calculator is that, especially because these, like what we're doing is all relatively new for so many of us. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many of y'all had like a stats course in high school, and I don't even know how long some of y'all have been out of high school. Like I said, when I taught this class, the last time I taught it in person, it was before the pandemic. It was a night class. I had students in their 30s and 40s, so they've been out of high school for 20 years or whatever. But like if I ask you, hey, what's 2 times 3? I know that you know off the top of your head that's 6. But when we're doing something like this on the calculator, whatever answer we get, y'all, we're going to just trust that that's what the answer is. So sometimes it's something as minor as, you forgot the 0.75. You put a 7 instead of, like you didn't put the point. Or instead of the 999, you put a 0.999. Something like that. It can be something as minor as that. And if we don't catch it, whatever we get on the screen, we're going to say, hey, that's what my answer is. So a lot of times, yeah, we got to double check, make sure I'm typing everything in correctly. And guys, y'all know, I mean, y'all been with me here these last few class sessions. Sometimes I go fast, and when I go fast, I make mistakes. So I know, I'm telling you guys, hey, take your time. But I can't say it enough because sometimes that's all it is. It's something as minor as that, okay? But I'm glad that we went through those problems, and I'm glad that y'all feel a little bit better. Were there any other questions, y'all, that you wanted to ask me about anything from the review? Do you guys feel okay?
So can I bother you with one more?
Yeah, you can bother me for 5 more.
I think I'm doing something wrong. I'm on the microwave
Okay, tell me.
one, and I think I'm doing it wrong.
Which one is this?
It's number 8. I have the notes written down, but my problem, it says a shipment of 13 microwave ovens contains 4
Okay.
defective units.
Okay, so hold on. So let's start with your number 8. So this is Eric's microwave problem, right? Okay, how many microwaves do we have total, Eric?
We got 13 total.
13 total. Okay.
And it comes with 4 defective units.
Okay, so if 4 are defective, doesn't that mean that 9 are not defective?
Correct.
Okay, how many are we going to buy?
It says a restaurant buys 3 of these units.
Okay, so we're going to buy 3. Okay, and then what's the next part?
It says, what is the probability of the restaurant buying at least 2 non-defective units?
Okay, at least 2 non-defective. Okay, so look, let's do this. We're going to do the denominator first. Okay, so the denominator is, we have 13, we're going to buy 3. So my denominator is going to look like this. 13 choose 3.
Okay.
Okay. All right, now we want at least 2 that are non-defective. So what does that mean? That means out of the non-defective, we're going to, out of those 9 non-defective, we're going to choose 2 of them, which means from the 4 that are defective, we're going to pick 1.
Okay.
Okay.
We're going to choose 2.
Because we want a total of 3, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then we can also say, look, the other option is from the 9 that are non-defective, we're going to choose 3 of them, which means from the 4 that are defective, we're not going to choose any. And I'm going to show you guys real quick, y'all, how I'm going to do this on my calculator. So again, it's going to make nice and pretty sense, okay? So look, this is how I'm going to do it with a little times, and exactly like this.
9.
Okay. So look, let's run through this one together. Again, I want to make sure that we're okay. So let me turn on my computer. Let me clear my screen. Okay, or my calculator. So look, y'all, I'm going to put parentheses, and that's opening these right here up. So I'm going to go 9, math. Remember, we're going to use the PRB. We're going to go down to number 3. We're going to hit enter. We're going to choose 2 of them, times 4, math. PRB, we're going to choose one of those, and then we have a plus. 9 math PRB, we're going to choose 3 of those times 4 math PRB. Oops. We're going to choose none of those. Close out my parentheses, divided by 13 math PRB, choose 3. I'm going to hit enter. And so, Eric, I want to say it's asking us to go to 3 decimal places. So I would write 0.797.
Okay, that's where I'm getting stuck because my calculator is giving me 336.293.
And are you entering in exactly as I'm entering mine in?
Yes.
Let
me see. Second enter. See if I missed anything. It's 4C1.
And Eric, are you using a calculator or are you using an app?
No, I'm using the TI-84.
Okay, can you do me a favor, Eric? With your phone, can you take a picture of like what I'm showing here on my screen?
Yeah, let me go ahead and maybe there's a setting wrong on my calculator.
Okay, yeah. Can you take a picture of this part and send it to me just so I can double check, and I'll tell you, maybe we need to fix something.
Let me take a picture. And
Christina, I don't know if you were following along or not, but if you are, you might want to just try this one just on your Calculate X, just to make sure it's coming out the same way. So that, let's see, okay, Eric is coming through. Give me 1 second, and I will pull it up.
yeah, it's the bottom one.
Okay, so give me 1 second. Here we go. Okay. Okay, so Eric, I want you to notice something. you're putting parentheses around each little part.
Mm-hmm.
So notice on my screen, I only have the parentheses at the very beginning and the parentheses at the very end.
Okay.
So what you want to do, I'll put it to you this way, Eric. Get rid of all the parentheses except for the one in front of the 9, choose 2,
Mm-hmm.
and the one at the end of the 4, choose 0. And in the
Okay.
middle, put little times. Don't put the little parentheses. And the reason why yours is coming out that way, Eric, what it's doing is it's doing the only part that's dividing, it's only dividing the second part. And that's why we're coming up with the wrong answer.
Okay. Let me try it out. Let me delete this one. Delete this one. Delete this one. Put the times in the middle. There we go.
Working
Simple
now?
mistake. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's all of it, y'all, it's just it comes down to like exactly how you type it in. I don't know if y'all remember this or not, but back when we were like in, I don't know, 8th grade or 9th grade, y'all remember the order
Let me
of
take a picture of that one
operations?
so I can remember.
Yeah. You remember order of operations like parentheses, multiply, divide, add, subtract? When you enter it in like that on the calculator, it's because you don't have this part here, Eric, because you don't have these. It's only taking this part and dividing it by that. And then it's whatever you're coming up with here, it's adding it to that number. So the other way, the other thing you could have done is just put another parenthesis here and put another parenthesis there, and it would have worked. That would have been another option.
Got
So
it.
the way you typed it in was exactly fine. Just put another parenthesis in the beginning and another parenthesis here at the end, but still having this outside of the parentheses, and then it's going to work.
Awesome.
Any other questions, y'all, about anything?
That was the last one I was stuck on.
Okay. Christine, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. All right, listen, y'all. I'm going to stop recording this.